How's it going, Leisure Gamers? Welcome back to another episode of the Leisure Gamer Podcast. My name's Luke Bryce, and I'm joined with Alan Edens.
How's it going?
And then also Sunshine Cinerath.
What the sheep?
And Tim Kortsmith.
Hello, everyone.
So it's been 2 weeks since we last did a podcast. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Fall is in the air. As they say, winter is coming.
Nice Game of Thrones line.
Yeah, got to throw that in there.
You are right about the fall. I feel like a couple weeks ago it got really, really cold, at least where I am, and then the trees were still green, but now it's warmed up and the trees are now yellow and red again, or yellow and red, so it's quite nice. I agree, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Fall is really only just starting here.
Yeah, I was gonna say where you live, Tim. I doubt it's even beginning.
It's kind of starting. There's some leaves starting to fall and all that, and kind of coloring. Definitely a few hours up north. And by the way, I live in Atlanta for those leisure gamers that aren't aware of that.
And you know, when the leaves do turn where you live, I'm sure it will be fabulous considering how much vegetation there is in Atlanta. It's kind of crazy.
It's definitely gorgeous. Yes.
I like how you say up
Excellent.
north, but I really went up north. I went to Canada.
Well, a little ways north from Atlanta.
That's true. You recently went to one of the coolest names ever. What was the name of the town?
Thunder Bay.
It either is home to a football team or like I don't know, some crazy flight club group or something. I don't know.
It was kind of like a Norse Viking kind of place. I stayed at a place called Valhalla. So,
That's pretty
Is that
amazing.
like Thor's summer home? Does he have a summer
I got to
home
hang
up
out with Thor and Odin and, play pranks on Loki.
there? Nice.
Well, today on our show we have a few things lined up. We're first going to talk about our feature, which is, does playing a game on easy make you less of a gamer? And we're all going to get some different perspectives from us. And then we're going to jump into what we've been playing in these past 2 weeks. And we'll call it good there. So hitting the easy button or just playing the game on easy in general, does that make you or any other gamer less of a gamer, you could say? We thought of this idea. Was it at PAX Sunshine and Alan? Do you guys remember?
It was probably about that
when
time.
we were first. Yeah, it was when we were first discussing the podcast.
Do you guys remember
idea.
how it came about? Were we talking to anyone in particular, or?
I don't think.
No, I think it was internal. I think we were just talking about our own experiences, playing games, and also, since we've gone through the transition of going to college and then getting out of college, getting a job, and how to continue being a gamer.
You gonna say something, Sunshine?
Yeah, I think it kind of came about because we were just talking about games, and we just recently reviewed Catherine, and you and I were probably talking about how hard of a game it was, and how we ended up playing it on easy just so we can get the review out quicker, and kind of learn more about the game. And then we just kind of brought up, does that make us less of a gamer because we play it on easy just so we can get through it faster?
That's true. It was because of Catherine, because that even on normal, that game's ridiculously hard.
Yeah. And I will say the reason I played it on easy at first was just because my goal was to try to beat the game quickly because we were on a short timeline to get the review done, and then I wanted to try to beat the game too before, I had to send it back in. And so, I played it on easy, but then I tried to play it on normal too, and it was just like it took too long. I didn't get enough of the, background story of the game when I was trying to play it on normal.
Well, that was kind of my first question was, have you ever played a game on easy? So Sunshine, I guess both you and I have, but have you played other games on easy, Sunshine?
There's probably been a few occasions where I may be frustrated at a point in a game where I'll flip it to easy quick and then probably switch it back to normal. I wouldn't say any games recently other than Catherine have I, went and dropped down to easy. I will say, there are definitely occasions, on certain games where I'm like, I should switch this to easy, but, I try to man up, I guess you could say, and try to play the game, but, should you really even say, you have to man up to, and stick to your levels,
Mm-hmm. Tim, have you ever played a game on easy purposely?
Well, there's actually two games kind of coming to mind. I'm sure you all have heard of the Fallout series after Bethesda took over the franchise, but Fallout 1 and 2, made by the original company, I actually played those on easy. Those were kind of difficult and also huge games. So when I was playing those, I wanted to do more exploring rather than really struggling to, get through certain sections. So that's two
Okay.
that kind of stick out in my mind. But I will say, usually I try to play it on at least normal or preferably hard if I can. It seems like I complete more games that way.
You said
Yeah.
you sometimes even switch it to hard.
Yeah, yeah. If I can manage it, especially shooters, I'm a big fan of shooters. So if I play a shooter, they're generally played on hard. It just gives me more of a challenge, which I enjoy more, and I'm more prone to actually finish the game if I'm having a challenge and enjoying myself more. If I'm blowing through everything, I'm more prone to get bored of the game quick.
Alan, I cut you off. You were going to say something?
I was just going to comment that I've heard that the original Fallout's were pretty challenging games for their time.
Yeah, and they certainly were. Excellent, wonderful games, though. I was definitely very happy
Yeah.
when they were revived, but I don't know. Even though it's all in 3D, and I know they've gotten really good reviews, it's not the same. Like, I really love the overhead play in the old Fallout style. And they really tried for the comedy they had going in those games, but didn't really achieve it.
Right.
You said comedy?
Oh yeah, it's very, very dark comedy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
Post-apocalyptic comedy.
in the lightest of ways.
So Alan, why did you play games on easy?
I gotta say, I'm thinking back to games that I've purposely, it's really been a difficulty problem that I've put it on easy. And I definitely don't do it that often. I think maybe a few of the games where I've toned it down. One was the original Dragon Age. When that first came out, there were some parts where it was just ridiculously challenging, and the amount of enemies to the amount of party members and power you have, which seemed really unproportionate. So I will admit that I toned that back for a while, and I think they actually patched it to make it a little less difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that is probably the most recent game that I've had to tone down because I've just been so frustrated and hadn't been able to make progress.
You recently got done with a really, really hard game, though. Witcher 2, right?
Yeah, that's true. That was a challenge, and I was definitely tempted for a while to tone it down, but I do definitely enjoy the sense of achievement for getting past a tough game, and that game you'll definitely feel a great sense of achievement if you if you manage to get pretty far in that game.
So you played it on normal, just the default setting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which it's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, yeah. I was just curious to see if they had like normal is what it was, but then they had easy, and then sometimes they even have one less than easy. Like a game that comes to mind that they have a very easy was Uncharted 2, which I didn't even attempt it on very easy, but I'm pretty sure it's just like you're pretty much invincible. But you said towards the end of Witcher 2 it actually got easier.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the difficulty curve on that game is sort of the reverse of what you'd expect. You expect a game to be sort of easy in the beginning and then ramp up the difficulty as you go on. But The Witcher 2 just throws you right into the thick of things with barely any of a tutorial. You'd have no idea sort of what's going on. You're just thrown in with all these skills and weapons and stuff. And they're all the lowest grade you can get, so you're thrown into the midst of things just so weak. And then as you progress through the game, you manage to get more loot, get better equipment, learn how your spells work, learn how to make craft potions and stuff, and then you actually start to become real badass by the end of the game, and basically nothing can stop you.
I will agree with that, Alan, especially the potion element and the fighting element. I mean, they really throw you in there. Like, I didn't have any idea for a while that I could even make potions. I mean, it took me a while to even figure that out, like you have to actually meditate and then click on the buttons and go through, and you can only really see stuff if you have the ingredients.
Yeah, they do not hold your hand with the.
Oh no, not at all. But oh man, once you get the hang of it, though, it's a blast.
It is rewarding. It is pretty a complex system, but that's the beauty of a complex system is once you figure it out, there's so much you can do with it.